Ever wonder how almost all of Africa was colonized by European powers in the 19th century, except for one nation that stood its ground? Let's talk about the incredible story of Ethiopia and its stunning victory in the First Italo-Ethiopian War. By the late 1800s, the scramble for Africa was in full swing. European nations were carving up the continent, hungry for resources and prestige. Italy, a relatively new nation itself, was eager to build its own colonial empire and set its sights on Ethiopia. They thought it would be an easy target, a quick way to join the ranks of the great powers. They couldn't have been more wrong. At the heart of this conflict was a document called the Treaty of Wuchale, signed in 1889. Here's where things get interesting. The treaty was written in both Italian and Amharic, Ethiopia's language. But the two versions said different things. The Italian version stated that Ethiopia had agreed to become a protectorate of Italy, basically giving up its foreign policy independence. However, the Amharic version, which Emperor Menelik II had signed, simply said that Ethiopia could, if it chose, use Italy's help to deal with other European powers. It was a suggestion, not a requirement. When Menelik II discovered this deception, he was furious. He was a brilliant and modernizing ruler, not someone to be tricked. He had been busy unifying Ethiopia, building up its infrastructure, and, crucially, acquiring modern weapons from various European sources, including France and Russia. He saw Italy's attempt to use a linguistic trick to steal his country's sovereignty for what it was, an act of aggression. In 1893, Menelik II formally rejected the Italian version of the treaty, declaring Ethiopia's absolute independence. Italy was insulted and decided that military force was the only answer. They underestimated Ethiopia completely. They saw it as a divided, uncivilized land that would crumble before the might of a modern European army. Italian forces began to advance from their coastal colony of Eritrea into Ethiopian territory. At first, they had some minor successes, but Emperor Menelik II wasn't sitting idle. He issued a powerful call to arms, a mobilization proclamation that rallied people from every corner of his diverse empire. It was an incredible display of national unity. An army of over 100,000 soldiers, both men and women, answered the call. They came from all walks of life: farmers, nobles, and clergy, all united under one banner to defend their homeland. This massive Ethiopian force was not just a ragtag militia. Thanks to Menelik's foresight, many were armed with modern rifles, and they were led by skilled commanders who knew the rugged terrain of their country like the back of their hand. They used the landscape to their advantage, drawing the Italians deeper and deeper into the mountains. The climax of the war came on March 1, 1896, at the Battle of Adwa. The Italian commander, General Oreste Baratieri, was under immense pressure from Rome to secure a decisive victory. Based on faulty intelligence that suggested the Ethiopian army was small and starving, he ordered his four brigades to advance in a surprise attack. It was a catastrophic miscalculation. The Italian forces were outnumbered, with about 17,000 soldiers against a much larger Ethiopian army. They marched through the night in separate columns, got lost in the complex terrain, and completely lost contact with each other. As dawn broke, they walked right into a perfectly laid trap. Menelik's forces, strategically positioned in the hills and valleys surrounding Adwa, descended upon the isolated and disorganized Italian columns. The fighting was fierce and brutal. The Ethiopians, led personally by Emperor Menelik and Empress Teitu, fought with incredible courage and determination. Empress Teitu, a brilliant strategist in her own right, commanded her own reserve force and played a key role in the victory. By midday, the battle was over. The Italian army was completely crushed. It was a humiliating and shocking defeat for Italy and for Europe. Thousands of Italian soldiers were killed, and thousands more were captured. The news sent shockwaves across the world. A European colonial army had been decisively defeated by an African force. It was unprecedented. The aftermath was immediate. The Italian government collapsed in disgrace. Italy was forced to sign the Treaty of Addis Ababa, which unequivocally recognized the absolute independence of Ethiopia. Ethiopia's sovereignty was secured. The victory at Adwa became a powerful symbol of resistance and hope for Black people all over the world. It inspired early Pan-African movements and proved that European invincibility was a myth. Emperor Menelik II became a hero, a symbol of African strength and clever leadership. He had not only preserved his nation's freedom, but had also forever changed the narrative of colonialism. So, the next time you look at a map of colonial Africa, remember the story of Ethiopia, the nation that, through unity, smart leadership, and sheer courage at the Battle of Adwa, successfully defended its independence against a European empire. Thanks for watching! If you found this story as inspiring as I do, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more incredible stories from history. See you next time.